Hello.
Hi there.
Yeah, so this is News Conversations, episode 16, season 2. And I'm Jessica DeWitt. I'm one of the editors here at the network in Canadian History and Environment. I'm a little rusty, apparently. I feel a little rusty this morning, but I'm joined by Jonatan Palmblad, who is a friend of mine and a colleague. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So yes, I'm Jonatan Palmblad. I am a PhD candidate, late stage, at the Rachel Carson Center for Environment and Society in Munich, Germany, where I also work as the managing editor for a short format peer-reviewed journal called Arcadia, and I'm the curator for the Environment and Society portal, and I'm also an editor for our new journal called Springs, the Rachel Carson Center Review.
Awesome.
I do quite a lot of things. And then I'm originally a philosopher and historian of ideas. I'm from Sweden. I kind of migrated into environmental history because I'm very interested in the role that ideas and ideology and psychology has in environment and our human environment interaction, I guess. And then lastly, of course, why I'm invited today is also because I'm the curator for Postcards for Unstable Times, which is a project run by the ESEH, which is short for the European Society for Environmental History.
Yes, yes. So you wear many hats. You're a fellow person who has their toes
Yes,
in it, dipping their hands in everything. So,
a
um,
generalist, not a
yes,
specialist.
exactly. Me too. Me too. Do you want to talk a bit more about the Postcards for Unstable Times project? Like, what exactly is it?
Sure. So it is a creative project launched by the ESCH then in 2021. And I think it was originally announced at the online sessions for the ASCH in 2021. And it was originally run by Wilco Graf von Hardenberg. And I took over as the curator or manager this year. And ran it since when can that have been? I think it was February. Um, trying to remember my own history as a historian. That's not always that easy.
Yeah.
And then it is posted on the ESCH website, but the main platform is actually Instagram. So we
Mhm.
have an Instagram account that you can follow. It's ESCH Postcards. And what else? Yeah, I could tell you a bit about the idea behind it, or
Yeah.
first what it is maybe. So how to submit and what you submit. You submit a postcard. It should be an image in the postcard format, and we have a template for the back where you write a little message and an addressee. So you send it to someone or something. It's a very creative project. The only limit is that it has to be environmental, whatever that means. It's also
Mhm.
very open, right?
Yes.
Um, and then it can be sent to the past, to the present, to the future, from anywhere in history, any place, any time. So we receive a lot of very different ones. And like I said, then it's a truly creative project. You really have to be inventive to come up with something. And I'm glad that people really are.
Mhm.
And then also I should add, you also write a short, we could call it a letter, 300 words max, which makes it into the caption on Instagram, and where you can either elaborate on what you write on the back of the postcard, or you can contextualize it. You're pretty much free to do whatever you want. And then the idea behind this, like why do this, especially in relation to environmental history, it is, I think, it's a project that's meant to imagine change and transformation, which is something we all work with. And we live in unstable times today, and we can reflect upon times that were more or less unstable, or that will be. And through these
Mhm.
postcards, we can envision different worlds. Maybe it's a form of world making. We can consider the causes of the present crisis, or we can perhaps just express some kind of lament over what has been lost as human societies have progressed at the expense of non-human nature.
Mhm. Yeah, I love the flexibility of the project and the creativity that comes out of it. Um, So we're working together on a co-authored chapter for the handbook for Routledge Handbook for Environmental History of Environmental History. Yeah.
I think it's off, but I'm not sure.
Yes.
We'll see when it's published.
Yes. And it's about communicating environmental history to diverse audiences. And in this chapter, you talk about the this postcards project a bit. So I thought maybe you could talk about how you see this project as contributing to this idea of communicating environmental history beyond our little academic sphere.
Yeah, I think it's a very good question. And well, I think it does contribute to what we're doing by being on Instagram, because it's a pretty weird platform. I know that NiCHE is very good at using it for promoting environmental history already, but it's quite unconventional for communicating academic content in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it has to do with Instagram being so focused on images and videos, right?
Yeah.
Whereas we academics and historians, we are so used to communicate through text, and we expect people to read it carefully and spend time to really understand our arguments.
Mm-hmm.
So then we all of a sudden have Instagram where people just flick through the content, and then you have to be inventive, I think, and that's what we are, or they were, when they, because I didn't create the postcards project, but so I think it was a really good idea to be creative, like I said. And it is creative not only by giving environmental historians a chance to communicate through a different medium, but also by inviting anyone to contribute. So the people who contribute with postcards, many of them are not environmental historians, many of them are not academics at all. But it's a joint platform or a common ground where we can meet with the people we want to communicate with or to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's really great. And I find Instagram particularly good for that. And there's so much more potential for environmental historians and scholars to really get on this platform and to figure out how to use it. I do think that it has opportunities for innovation that some of the other platforms don't, or perhaps, Twitter's like easy, like for those who don't know, environmental historians like rule Twitter. Like it's very easy to communicate with other environmental historians on that platform. And because of that, it also reaches other people. But I think Instagram and maybe TikTok now really have some opportunities for expansion. And this project is kind of an example of that. And I love the visual element of it. And that kind of gets to my last question, which, when I'm reading through these, I'm always struck by how poignant they are. They really tug at my heartstrings a lot of the time. And I wondered if you could talk about maybe a few examples that you really resonate with or were your favorites.
It's a good question. I think I liked all of the ones that we received now, and the ones in the past were also interesting and good. But yeah, well, maybe I can start with Caroline Abbott of NiCHE, your colleague,
Yes.
her postcard, which was really cool. And first of all, I think the image was taken by her, and it's with a 19th century camera. So
Yes.
it's really old school, and it's really cool. And I myself happen to love analog photography, but I don't have a camera that old. But then what is this postcard? That's what I really find interesting too. It's like I would call it an elegy to New England, really, and about what has been lost, and a kind of lament. But then it changes towards the end in the main message, then, or in the caption, and it ends with some sort of reconciliation with the change that is going on, and that New England is still very much alive. It's not dying or dead, but it has definitely changed. And then what else? I have a colleague of mine, Taylor Nelson, submitted a postcard dedicated to the Romantic poet John Keats. And I really like that one. It's also exploring literary themes and looking at his conception of nature. And then the image she used was a collage of different images. So she kind of visualized her interpretation, I think, of one of Keats's poems, Ode to a Nightingale. And then I also like the last, or that, no, it was actually the first postcard we received this year. And it's a very innovative one. It's sent from the distant future to South Africa. And it's interesting that it's because it's sent from a brighter future and a very good future where everything is okay. And then the postcard is of this shed and of the ancestor of the person who's sending it. And the photo then serves as a reminder of what was, and that it was dark, but it was also the beginning of what was about to become good finally in terms of the environmental crisis. So I like that one. It has hope in it too.
Yeah, that one was really beautiful. Yeah, those are all excellent. Yeah, as you said, all of them are pretty amazing. Every time I read one, I'm struck by it. I find them very thought-provoking and very emotional. And I have a cat, so I had to get out of the way. We raised our house to level the floors, but now the doors don't shut, so I can't keep the cats out for these at the moment.
Okay, yeah. Oh.
Anyways.
The plus two. Nice with company.
Yes. I guess we're wrapping up now. This was a really nice chat, and it's a really great project. I encourage everyone to head over to ESEH Postcards account. Pretty easy to find on Instagram.
Yeah.
Sort through. And are you planning on doing it again next year? Do we know yet?
Yes, that is the plan. And I would say, like, if anyone feels or has an idea, like, submit it now, and we'll consider it already. But we will have a new call later too. But feel free to submit a postcard. We're just happy to receive one.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you for joining me, Anta. This was
Thank you,
great.
Jessica, for inviting me.
Take care.
You too. Goodbye.
Bye.